Welcome to the third episode of The Waterfowl Hunter. Today on our podcast, we'll be talking a little bit about duck hunting blind bags, and specifically go over a few different blind bags as well as a checklist on what to remember to bring. If you've been duck hunting for quite a time or even goose hunting on the field, it's to no surprise that there's quite a bit of gear when it comes to duck hunting or any type of waterfowl hunting. Whether you're carrying ammo, duck calls, hats, gloves, you name it, there's quite a bit of gear. And a blind bag is going to make that quite easy for you to come from your truck into the blind, out in a field. Keeps everything pretty condensed, and there's thousands of options out there. But if you want to take a look in a little bit more detail, in the link in the description is where we're getting this article from. And we have a couple today, one of them being the Delta Waterfowl floating blind bag. This was a medium-sized bag. It's about 12 inches by 8 by 9. It's got a series of about 4 pockets on the outside. Comes in a mossy oak blade or Realtree Max 5. Comes with a handle strap as well as a shoulder strap. And it does float, which is pretty nice if you're thinking about going out taking it to the marsh. It makes sure you got a little bit of security, knowing if you got your cell phone in there, you've got some ammo, maybe some expensive duck calls. There is chances that if you drop it overboard, it could be saved. Next is the little bit bigger deluxe blind bag by Delta Waterfowl. This one's probably the best overall. It's roughly about the same size, but they do have a larger version, just in case you're finding yourself needing a couple more boxes of shells, especially if you're looking at taking shells, gloves. This is probably a little bit better bag for a late season one. Includes the same number of straps, has a handle and a shoulder strap, but there's a few more pockets on the outside, as well as some pretty neat features actually. Inside is an LED light. It's a little over the top for a blind bag, but if you ask me, once you got it, it's a pretty nice amenity, that's for sure. But those are the two that we kind of reviewed in our blind bags on our article. And the main reason we wanted to talk a little bit is about blind bag checklist. Things to remember. So kind of listing them a little bit is obviously ammo. No surprise there. Sunglasses. Some people use them, some people don't because of glare, anti-glare, all that type of stuff. Gloves, hat, depending on the season. Duck calls, including your lanyard. It's a pretty easy place to store it when you're going to and from your truck to the blind. If you got a dog, one of the biggest things I always forget is the e-collars and receivers. Uh, they're a lifesaver, but you also forgetting them can be quite frustrating. Chokes, I typically don't carry extra chokes with me, but some guys do. And some of these blind bags actually have a holster inside the bag for extra chokes. If you find yourself needing a long range or mid range choke, it's nice to take an additional one way. As well as hand warmers, obviously coffee, food, and most importantly is if you can take any decoy remotes, if you're able to use motion decoys, those are also a pretty easy one to forget. And in our article, we go over some of our top products that we use. One of the best ones I think I've found, it's cheap, it's like $3-4, is MTM shotgun shell boxes. I usually get the 3.5 inch ones because then you can put 3 inch or 3.5 inch in them. But they're basically a 25 round box made out of plastic. Keeps all your shells nice and neat. Super nice when if it's raining, there's a lot of weather, moisture out in the air. Those old, cardboard traditional boxes get so mangled up. Plus, when you go to take the shells out of your pocket and put them back in your blind bag, this is a much easier way to keep organized. Um, Lastly, any optional, the optional things we talked about are like the remotes, e-collars, coffee makes, but the must-haves are obviously your uh, duck calls, ammo. Uh, that's probably the most like typical things that you need in your blind bag. Thanks for tuning into our podcast today.